you really don't you don't prepare speeches for something like this, although today I was thinking, man, what am I going to say if things don't go our way? How can you describe the emotions that you would feel if if it went the wrong way for us, when there's so much riding on this game for a lot of people, a lot of people at UConn, and mostly for Paige being their last opportunity to do this. So I just kept thinking, something good has to happen, because if we were going to lose, it would have been before now. I don't think the basketball gods would take us all the way to the end. They've been really cruel with some of these kids on this team. They've suffered a lot of the things that could go wrong in the college career as an athlete. And so they don't need any more heartbreak. So they weren't going to take us here and then give us more heartbreak. I kept holding on to that, and I'm glad they were rewarded. This was one of the more emotional Final Fours and emotional national championships that I've been a part of since that very first one. Oh, you guys are leaving. Don't come looking for me after. What's up, Doug?
Congrats on the title. Can you talk about the journey that Paige has been on these last 5 years with you, and the journey I guess you guys have had over the last 9 years to get back to winning a championship, with all the heartbreaks that you talked about the other day, how you said you made mistakes and then you cost the team, and just what it means to get back on top?
I got, being honest, I think there was a big part of my inner circle, I guess, of people that I trust that were hoping that after the Stewie fourth in a row, that I should have called it a day back then. That would have been pretty, apropos, I guess, right off into the sunset with Stewie and Tuck and Mariah and those guys. So when you make a decision that, you're not quite finished yet, and then 3-4 years go by and people start telling you that UConn's not UConn anymore, and somebody else's turn, and then 5 years go by, and 6 years go by, and 7 years go by. It's not like it was extra motivation, but it just happened to coincide, the last 5 years with the pandemic, the bubble, the injuries, and I just kept thinking, I kind of owe it to these people to kind of let me see if we can take a whole team, what could happen. Because these people that have been playing against us for the last 7-8 years have not played against the University of Connecticut team. Yet beating UConn always seemed like the national championship to them. For us, it always seemed like if we ever get a chance to get healthy, this could be pretty good. So it coincided with Paige's journey. So my journey became hers in so many words. Who's to say that after she won her first, if we won her sophomore year, her second year at Connecticut, we won the national championship, and I feel like, okay, well, I lived up to my promise. She got a national championship. Let's move on. But because it didn't happen, it was just almost like a crusade on our coaching staff's part to let's do this. Who knew it would turn out like this? But I started to trust in them, and I think when I tell you that it really is out of your hands, it really is true. all this is in the hands of the players that are playing, and it made it all worthwhile today. This is probably the most emotional one, like I said, that I've had maybe since, I don't know, really, really emotional. 2000, I can name them. 95 was pretty emotional, obviously. 2000 in Philly in front of my mom and stuff. And 2002 with Sue and that crew heading out. Then Dee's senior year, and then Stewie's senior year. Like, those were probably the most, because of what was involved. And this one had as much, if not more, involved. And I was pretty emotional when the game ended.
We'll go to Nancy.
Nancy Amber, USA Today Sports. Geno, what we heard Paige say what you guys said to each other, but I'm wondering what you told her, and also too just the fact that she has prioritized the team so much. How fitting was it that this was not everything was not on her today?
Back part of your question, we as coaches felt like AZ was the key to the tournament. That every game that AZ played, we talked about it in the locker room before the game, and just the coaching staff. We said every time AZ scores more than 16 points, I forget what the number was exactly, we win every one of those games. And so we felt that if she could have an AZ type game, didn't have to be a 28-point game like the one at Carolina, that we will win. We kind of know what we're going to get from Paige. We kind of know what we're going to get from Sarah. So AZ became the focal point for us of who has to really step up tonight, and she did magnificently, obviously. And then to your point about the Paige thing, there are times when she and I are very, very, very serious together, and a lot of serious conversations have been had over the last 5 years between the two of us. And some conversations are light and fun and, don't mean anything. But today was the first one, I think, in 5 years that all the emotions that have been building inside of me came out. And they came out in her, because in 5 years that she's been in Connecticut, I've never seen her cry. And she might deny it, but she cried because she's going to miss me.
We'll go to the center, and then we'll work our way back.
Hi, Coach. Eden Lassie, Hoops HQ. In November, you told me that you wanted to win another one to prove that UConn was still making history. This team, like in the legacy of UConn women's basketball, how do they fit into that in your mind?
I don't know. I mean, that's usually those things are decided by other people who write what it means. I do think that each championship is a building block, and the legacy is all those blocks placed on top of each other. And I don't know that the bottom one holds everything up, but the first one, I don't think any other one means more to the legacy. Maybe what this one means is that there were a lot of people that didn't think it would ever happen. There are a lot of people that hoped it would never happen, that I'm glad that we were able to get to that spot that Connecticut has occupied. And not that we had to win a championship, but in the last 30 years, I I don't know that any programs meant more to their sport than what UConn has meant to women's basketball. So I feel good about that.
We're going to shift to our right. Ava, if you can raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you.
Hi, Geno. Ava Wallace, The Washington Post. I know you've spoken extensively about your and Paige's relationship over the past couple weeks, I guess, but just in you mentioning that you felt like you really want to do it for her and do it for all your players,
Sure.
What about her inspires you and your coaching staff?
You know, it's funny. Jamel wasn't here her freshman year. Tanya wasn't here her freshman year. So they missed that whole bubble thing, and they missed her being the National Player of the Year and all that. So their journey, my staff's journey with Paige, has been more like that, because Paige is infuriating, and she's absolutely mesmerizing when you watch her play at practice. She's like a symphony conductor that just everything just flows the way she wants it to flow. She dictates the pace of everything we do at practice, dominates every practice. But when she goes into those places where she doesn't necessarily have in her mind what we want as a coaching staff, she's infuriating. And it happened a couple times today, and it just really infuriating. Like, you know, she is going to want to dictate, and my relationship with her has been, I know what she's going to do, and it's not always what I want her to do. But I know in the end, she's always doing what she thinks she needs to do for us to win. And so I got to pretend, I got to not look. And then if I do accidentally look, I got to pretend I didn't see it. And the two of us live happily ever after.
Michael Vogel.
Coach, as a fellow senior citizen, I ask this. I don't hope you're not offended by it, but you are the oldest coach in men's or women's basketball to win a national championship. You've talked about how the last few years it's been hard. There's been times you thought, hey, do I want to keep doing this? Can you talk about just your journey to stick with this, and you want to stick around another, several years to win a few more?
Well, all those other coaches had the good sense to not stick around till they were 71. Again, we maybe talked about this recently. Yes, we all feel our age at some point. We don't like to admit that we're older because we still act younger because of the people that we're dealing with, right? I know a lot of my friends that are my age that haven't done what I've done with who I've done it with, and they look way older, act way older, because they've lost the ability to be a kid because they're not around kids. So, yeah, I may be 71 number-wise, but I think otherwise, I'm more able to do stuff with those young people because I'm around them every day and they rub off on me. So does that mean that I could do this for another X number of years? No, because, wine is good for you too. And if you're around it all the time, after a while, you wake up and you go, that was really bad. I had too much fun. And so these kids are fun, but there is going to come a time when the fun doesn't eliminate how hard it is to do this job. This job is really hard to do. I almost equated this one with coaching the Olympic team. okay? If you know anything about coaching an Olympic team, it's a 4-year cycle, okay? You got to win a world championship first, and then you got to win a gold medal. And it takes 4 years for that whole thing to evolve. And if I were to tell you the number of people who work every day, not just in Colorado Springs, to win a gold medal, that you feel like if you don't win it, they have to wait 4 more years to have that opportunity. The incredible amount of pressure and obligation that you have. And my job has become that at UConn. That it's more of an obligation to do what they expect me to do as opposed to, any fame and fortune that's going to come my way. Although my AD doesn't know that yet.